Hey guys, it's Mahoney. Happy Wednesday morning. So my Tuesday tip is going to come on Wednesday morning. So I'm going to take a page out of Jenna Marbles and say Tuesday tip, sometimes Wednesdays. We were here working late last night and just decided to come in and do the tip this morning rather than doing it later in the evening last night. So today we're going to talk about employment discrimination, a very complicated area of the law. Again, we're not supposed to use specialized, right? And while I'm doing this, I guess this is a good place for me to throw in my disclaimer. I'm an attorney licensed in the state of Illinois. I'm not licensed in any other state. This is not designed to create an attorney-client relationship. This is not designed to give you legal advice. If you have questions, please contact your lawyer. If you want to get a hold of me, my phone number, 815-656-4600. You can reach me at mahoney.com or mahoneysgotyourback.com. So, employment discrimination. Very interesting area of the law, applies to a lot of people. What happens when you lose your job? Can they fire you? All right, so Illinois is what's called an employee at will state. So that means you can be fired for any reason, but you can't be fired for any legal reason. That's the big distinction. So an illegal reason would be that you can't be discriminated against based upon, I'm still learning how to use this, based upon age, sex, religion, race, all of those various types of things. Now, how does that all work? Well, it's actually pretty complicated. So, like right now, there are rules as to number of employees before you're in fact bound by some of these things. So somebody has to have 20 employees before they can be guilty of age discrimination, whereas with sex discrimination, they only need 4. So the first thing you need to realize is, number one, if you think that you might have a lawsuit that you were fired for something other than just because they didn't think you were doing the job, or they were downsizing, or they just didn't like you that day, if you think you were fired because of your age or your race or your religion or your sex or your gender differentiation in whatever form, first thing you need to do is you need to find an attorney that focuses very specifically on employment law and employment discrimination, because these rules vary, and there's state rules and there's federal rules, and so the rules in terms of what they can and can't do vary dramatically. So number one, in Illinois, can you be fired for no reason whatsoever? Yes. Number two, you can't be fired for any legal reason, so that's where you start. You're going to want to get a lawyer right away in order to figure that out. Other things you need to know. Are you a member of a collective bargaining agreement? That means a union. If you're a member of the union, then they have to follow the union contract and the union regulations, and you should have a union representative. That's a person that you should be in communication with right away if you have any type of employment issue, and they should go to bat for you and may well find an attorney for you, and it may well be included in your union dues. Unions have gotten a bad rap lately, but remember, if you're part of a union, if you're a teacher, if you're any type of union, they're there to protect you if you have a problem like this, any type of discrimination issue. So call your union rep immediately. The union rep should go and get you an attorney. And I've seen many times where somebody is contacting me regarding an employment issue. We got them through the union people, and the union people were able to work it out. And in fact, I've seen people get their jobs back when they were fired because they didn't follow the union regulations. Next, if you are not part of a collective bargaining agreement, did you get an employee handbook when you first joined? And if you did, were you required to read it and sign it? Make sure you grab one of those, or if you get one, keep it at home, keep it in a safe place. One of the first things your lawyer is going to want to know is whether or not you had a handbook and what it was, and did you have to sign it? Were you compensated for it? Many times what the court has done has said that handbook becomes part of your employment contract, and they have to follow the terms of that handbook. So if it had a disciplinary procedure, or if it had a process by which they had to use in order to fire you, they may be bound by that process. Your employer may be bound by that process. So if you not part of a union, but you do have a handbook, make sure you keep the handbook somewhere safe and take that to your attorney in the event that one day you walk in and you lose your job. Lastly, you should know that there's a federal commission, the EEOC, the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission, that handles this stuff. So if you go to an attorney The attorney should help you file a claim with the EEOC because you have to file a claim with them first. If they do not decide to prosecute your case, then the attorney can prosecute the case for you. And the employment attorney can fill that all out for you and help guide you through that process. So, what should you gain from all of this? Number one, Illinois, they can fire you for no reason. Other states, it can be different. Like one of the big things that you hear about lately is a right-to-work state. Well, a right-to-work state means that they can't force a union upon you, that you can work in a union shop and not be part of the union. Well, remember, if you're not part of the union, then you're not going to be part of that collective bargaining agreement. You're not going to get access to an attorney. You're not going to get access to the union people that are going to be there to try to fight for you in the event that you lose your job. You're not going to get all of those benefits. So, right to work state, not right to a union, not right to the union benefits. So number two, can they terminate you basically for no reason in most states? Yes, depends on the state. You got to look at your particular state and talk to your attorney. Number three, do you think that you were terminated for something related to age, sex, race, religion, whatever, anything along those lines? If the answer is yes, you're going to want to talk to an attorney right away. 4, if you're part of a union or a collective bargaining agreement, your union rep is your first call to see if they're going to get you an attorney, and they probably will, and you probably won't have to pay for it. It should be part of your union dues, and they should be able to protect you. When you talk to that person, you ask them all your questions. Lastly, if you go to work and they have an employee handbook, keep a copy of the handbook at home so that in the event that you ever are terminated or have an employment question and you can go see an attorney, then you've got the handbook with you and you can show that to the attorney because that could be a crucial part of your case. Finally, if you do hire a private attorney, the EEOC is going to be something that's going to be involved. Make sure it's an attorney that this is pretty much all they do. Like I talk about with workers' comp, like I talk about with personal injury, what I do, I talk about with bankruptcy, like I talk about with family law, with employment law. Very specific area. The attorney, it should be pretty much all that they go after is employment law. So thank you very much for my Tuesday tip. Hope everybody has an amazing Wednesday. Good morning and have a great day.